I study individuals with significant disability. That might make you think, oh, those poor folks, or they're an inspiration to us all, or you're glazing over in the back thinking disability's got nothing to do with you, so why should you care? I've seen other presenters use scare tactics. They say things like disability might one day strike you all due to age, accident, or association with a loved one. But that paints disability as a bad thing, and also as a looming threat that we should all be scared of. I spent 6 months exploring the perspective of 3 adolescents as they left segregated special school and transitioned into their emerging adult life in the community. To them, disability is not a good or a bad thing. It's the way they see life. It's what they know, and that's what I wanted to understand. Can you remember some of the challenges you faced when you left school? Now consider some of the challenges my participants are facing. They're leaving segregated special school in complete isolation from the mainstream. They and their peers might have significant intellectual disability coupled with something like autism. They might be nonverbal. They might have hearing, vision impairments, incontinence, behaviors that strike out of nowhere. If we can't figure out how to incorporate these sort of students in our schools, how are we going to incorporate them in society? And now to the community side of the transition puzzle, and this is where you start paying attention if you don't think disability has anything to do with you. There's a whole host of social policy, procedure, and programs for these sort of individuals after they leave school. A great deal of time, effort, and taxpayer money goes into these programs, and yet we don't know the perspective of their main service user, because researchers are only just beginning to include disability perspective in their research, and I'm one of them. Doing it is challenging. You have to extend traditional methodology to allow participants to show rather than tell their perspective. So I did things like give my iPhone camera to participants and ask them to photograph key environments. Or I watched dance and music performances. Or more subtle things like watching small behavioral changes over the course of their transition. I did interview and observe key people involved in the transition, but this wasn't as it's traditionally done in disability research, to give proxy information on the behalf of someone with disabilities. This was to better understand the environments that my participants were transitioning into, because it's so often out of their control. So not a good or a bad perspective. Disability is a unique perspective, a typically unheard or marginalized perspective. And when it's heard, our theoretical frameworks and research methodology, as well as our social policy and all of us in society, are made better and more robust with its inclusion. Thank you.